So in this video, we want to talk about the default in sex and why we think there's a
This is
whole
outdated.
and there's a whole new universe and world that we can explore, and you can explore with us in Brother and Lola. That's what we teach. So when we think about default sex, I don't know if you want to explain it.
Yeah, the default is mostly by a wrong or not existent education, like porn or a magazine or nothing, or experiences with someone who is not educated. So there's all this distortion about it. So default means, okay, let's get to bed or on the sofa. The man is kissing and touching me, maybe on the vagina, or he already knows some other erogenous zones and kissing me, that I get wet. So the woman has to get wet. And then I can enter her. And I can penetrate her until she is at the orgasm. Then I can have my orgasm. So I pleased her, I'm pleased, perfect, done. This is the normal default. Let's start kissing and touching so that she's wet. The penis is hard, I can enter, I will bring her to the orgasm, then I can ejaculate, and then it's done.
And if the man comes before, he still has the responsibility to make her come, and then he would use the fingers or something until she comes.
And why? Because there is this belief a man is a good lover when the woman has an orgasm.
Exactly.
So the thing,
and
yes.
Even if the woman is not wet, which happens with younger women, but above 40, 45, the lubrication goes down because of the juices of the body and so on. We use lubricants, we use coconut oil, or we use another thing so the man can go inside of the woman, right? That's another thing that happens often. So
now we wanna go out and leave this default. Why? It doesn't serve anyone. It serves the primal instinct of a man. What I'm saying, we are also animals, and we go back to the only primal thing of mating and making babies. So then we are right there. So there is a primal instinct of mating and making babies. Okay. Yet we have evolved slightly, and now we want to experience a way different, a way more nourishing, connecting. We have evolved as a species, at least in this point, not in all of them, but in this, to have a different, very nourishing, deep intimacy, also for the men. So if you're a man watching, there's way more pleasure and connection waiting for you, and when you're listening as a woman, you probably know a bit what I'm talking about. So there's a deep longing and desire of having a intimacy what feels more connecting, more like deeper, more nourishing. And what is necessary for this, so sorry man, they have to adapt to a bit of the rhythm of a woman. A woman functions very differently, two different animals, and so when we want to go out of the default to experience a way different and way more nurturing intimacy, is that we have to de-learn everything we thought we know, and we start with exploring our bodies. Like a whole body is an erogenous zone, like whatever, like maybe by touching this here or touching here or making like this, maybe this is already a turn on for you, or you get aroused, or you get even wet. Like knowing also sex starts in the breast, so actually here starts a turn on for a woman. But in the end, you start exploring your own body and your partner's body by not knowing anything and seeing, wow, I like this. So start also communicating while being in intimacy, and you can explore with different kind of touch, with a blanket, with other materials, whatever you think you want to explore and try. And there doesn't have to happen anything, but maybe at some point, at some place on your body, it's like, I like this, or this feels good, let's explore further. It's very playful, it's very innocent, curious, instead of performance, default, this is how it has to be. Forget all of this and go in a very different world.
yeah, because think about it. Like I get into the experience and I know what's gonna unfold. Like life, like for example, this is already, there's no juice here.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with most couples, is like they lose the vibrance, they lose the juice. Because if everything is so mental, so planned, even they make that this day we're gonna do this and we know already what's gonna unfold.
Yeah.
At the end you lose the spark and it's very boring, because and then you start looking to other things like sex parties or toys or other ways in which you can, create other types of arousals. And what we wanna teach here in Brad and Lola is there's a whole other way that is about especially emotional connection. So I think most people have experienced a type of intimacy, a type of sex that is mental, right? We get, especially men, we get aroused just by thinking on something or just by how the woman looks. We get aroused. And that is a mental way of living your sexuality, which I'm telling you as a man personally, my experience is very unfulfilling. Once you understand that the fulfilling intimacy is the one where you connect emotionally, and that's the challenge there, because you have to go out of your mind and you have to connect with the heart, right? And that's something most men don't want to go in because they have to feel, and feeling can be sometimes bringing up stuff that we don't want to look at, right? Some emotions that we are suppressing, some sadness, some anger, some different emotions that maybe even hold some tears. And a man has to open up as well and show himself vulnerable, and not just being this robot of performance, of bringing the woman into an orgasm and then switching for another task and continuing with the day, right? What happens when we take 1 hour, 2 hours with no expectation, no default, no objective, no plan, and we just focus on connecting and exploring? So that's the type of intimacy that is waiting for you if you start following us in Brad and Lola, and if you decide to purchase one of our products. This is something that you will learn, like this type of intimacy that we call nourishing intimacy. And at the end of the day, more than anything else, what really nourishes us is a deep connection with our partner. And that deep connection starts not only in bed, but starts with communication, with honesty, with connecting through words, through communication, and then ends up, of course, in bed or in intimacy, which is more than sex, right? So this video is just to show you that there's a whole other world that you can learn here in Brad and Lola, and get out of the default, which will bring a lot of unfulfillment and will suck the juice out of your relationship. And you want to have a vibrant relationship, because it really is the best, right, for us, and that's what we do.
And remember, you can't suppress what's burning inside.